It was a dark day for us, a dark day for EL. What we all thought was impossible became the possible, and from then on, change was absolute. Many of our own perished, IP banned for as long as the forums continued to exist. Those that lived through the end of the day were completely confused as to how this could have happened. It was a cowardly attack, built by nothing but trust, and prompted through nothing but insanity and greed. Everything died from the inside out. No one knows the complete details of how it happened, but it just did. This all started with the coming of one member. He was simply known as Kronos. We didn't know about his true intentions. They were hidden from our view for some time, at least long enough for him to gain a positive reputation by all the other members. He was an active user, always giving opinions, posting the bright suggestions for all the site's needs, and was soon promoted as a global moderator. We all supported this move, and we all requested it to Reservolt himself. Things were going well for EL. It was at the peak of its glory, prestigious throughout the gaming communities, and well known throughout many places on the internet. It was our time, our golden age. The site branched out to a 4,900 member, and all in a matter of a year. Kronos was promoted, yet again, but into an assistant administrator, a level ahead of moderator chief. It was what we all had hoped for, a more structured eLounger, a place for members to kick back and relax. But, unfortunately, things didn't last very long. Before Kronos was promoted to global moderator, there were a couple of people who refused to allow this from happening. Awful AIM had a devious theory as to what soon became a reality, but decided to keep silent about it. He thought that more proof was needed, something to flush him out in the open. Meanwhile, Supreme Muffin and Blue Buddy had discussions about this through personal messages. They briefly conversed as to how someone could have such an impact on EL. It had to be a too-good-to-be-true scenario. Soon, however, the subject was dropped, and life continued to head towards catastrophe. After becoming a global moderator, however, Kronos suddenly became engulfed by an urge for power. It felt great having many people under him, and he suddenly hatched a plot to do attacks so great that would risk destroying the very fabric of EL itself. All he had to do was play the patience game, collecting member by member's trust, one by one. In just 5 months, his plot succeeded. Seeing how helpful he was as a moderator, Reservolt and the other administrators met up to discuss a promotion. They soon came to an agreement on a new rank, the assistant administrator. It would have all the powers of an administrator, excluding, of course, any major site dealings that included money or ownership. The coding, however, was right at his disposal. No one knew that Kronos had any knowledge of HTML, the forum data that made up EL. The administrators had mistakenly given a crucial power to someone in the wrong hands. It was an unseen mistake that paid a dreadful price. The day that EL collapsed was the day that Kronos himself overpowered the administrators. Not much is known as to how he did it, but it's the effects that still remain. An evil arose from the burned ashes of the eLounger. Kronos reluctantly tried to ban anyone who didn't live by his rules, anyone who was under him that questioned his powers. There seemed to be one major criteria blocking his path. While he certainly overpowered the administrators, he could not do anything to stop them, and the same went vice versa. Banning them would do nothing, at least thanks to Awful AIM. During his truth gathering, he quickly set up a sort of protection system deep inside the coding regulator, the room in which the important information is located. With some major help from the administrators, a safe zone for users was born. This safe zone was called the Void. It was divided into 3 sections, the center holding the needed information for Kronos' hostile takeover. This was called the coding module regulator, and the utmost importance was to protect it at all costs. The middle section was an endless pit that surrounded the walls of the coding regulator module. The media link is required to open a gateway into the coding module room, but this has been proven or corrected. Even others say that the actual entrance is the pit itself, showing how anything could be possible in such a state of panic. The third and outermost layer is the living quarters, but we call it eLounger. Enough information was saved to provide our own boards within the void. including other helpful things. Of course, the Void was against Kronos' demands, and anyone who ever stepped in or out would be banned from the site. A few lucky members managed to get inside, but a trip outside was usually stopped by immediate banishment from new appointed moderators. Many had tried entering the Void, but most have never been heard from again. The job of these moderators was to do the bidding of Kronos, enforcing his new laws of the land. The result of treason would be IP banishment. Banishment in this world is death. Fear was quickly spreading. But not all is lost. There is still hope. The few members who remain loyal to the administrators will finally make an offensive. In one ending, this could bring peace back to the eLounge, back to what it was once. In the other, however, a course will bring failure, and an end to the form that we all know will be inevitable.
This is the story of how the eLounge will end. Infinite.